Welcome into Taylor Kitchen. Today we are making this pizza that Tim and I had when we were in Kauai at this great tapas place called Bar Acuda, kind of a play on the fish, Bar Acuda. Bar Acuda, but it's a tapas restaurant. They have phenomenal food. Chef Kenny just pulls out all the stops with the menu, so fabulous. But we had a pizette, and my oven is heating up. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. We had a pizette there that was pineapple, prosciutto, and jalapeno. It was so fabulous. If you don't think pineapple belongs on pizza, just hear me out and try this because it is so fabulous. So, so, so good. But I don't have a pizza oven, so I'm gonna show you how to get the closest thing to it in your home oven. And I have my oven set to 450. And I'm gonna put some flour. This is probably a little bit more than I'm gonna need. This is my homemade sourdough pizza dough, and it's been resting. I'm gonna turn this bag inside out and just get this dough out onto my parchment paper that I've dusted with flour. And the reason I'm rolling it out onto parchment paper is so that I can easily transfer it to my baking stone. I do have a round pizza stone, but I'm gonna go with an oblong rectangle for this. Oh, this dough is just pillowy and so good. You can use any pizza dough that you want. You can buy it in most grocery stores, or you can use a pre-packaged pizza dough if you want to, you know, the kind that's already made, like the boboli. I just love a good homemade dough. Y'all, it's so fabulous. And that's kind of what makes the pizza is a good crust, right? So I'm gonna take a little bit of time and roll this out into a rectangular shape. It wants to spring back, which is the sign of a really good dough. And I want it to be as thin as possible. I do like my pizzas kind of thin and crispy. So we will take our time and roll this. It's not looking too bad. Whoops, just messed it up. It wasn't looking too bad until I wanted to show you. Okay, welcome into Taylor Kitchen. If you haven't yet, please take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications to our YouTube channel. Click that bell icon below to make sure you get all the latest from us, and give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. It really helps out our channel and we so appreciate you. Also, go over to tkfoodie.com and see what we've got going on there. You don't want to miss a thing. Okay, here's my tip to get a crispy crust on a pizza. If you don't have a pizza oven, use a pizza stone. Mine is rectangular. You can use any shape, and then put your stone into your oven to preheat. My oven was on 450. And then I'm going to slide my pizza dough right onto this hot stone. And that way the bottom can start cooking right away. I'm going to press this down a little bit more evenly, and then I'm going to let it pre-bake before I do anything else with it for 10 minutes at 450 to kind of give this crust a really good start. Back into the oven for 10 minutes. Now the toppings on this pizza are very simple, but they are a perfect combination for a perfect bite. A little bit of your favorite store-bought marinara sauce, I'm sure. At Bar Acuda, they have homemade sauce. And then this is my take on this. I'm using a honey fig jam just to add a little extra sweetness to this. If you can find like a caramelized onion bacon jam, that is phenomenal as well. Plus it gives it that smoky hint. But we're gonna use some brie, we're gonna use some pineapple, and we're gonna use some jalapeno here. So I am going to get started and slice the jalapeno just very thinly, kind of on the diagonal, just because it's really pretty. The first time I tried to replicate this pizza, I chopped my jalapeno, and my husband said, no, theirs was sliced very thinly. So this time I'm gonna slice it very thinly, and then, oh, it's spicy, it's hitting me already. Ah. We'll strategically place this around the pizza, and just because I really love the heat that's in this, I'm gonna leave the seeds in. And the membrane, just thin is my goal, real thin and on the diagonal, because it's just pretty. I've already cut up my brie. And I think fresh pineapple is just in order. And their slices were very thin with the pineapple. You know, sometimes when you get Hawaiian pineapple at a restaurant, here at a pizza place, it's chunky and it came out of a can. You can use canned pineapple, but I think the fresh is just so good and so much sweeter. If you can find it. If not, use canned, it's totally fine. And if you don't want to go to the length of cutting it up finely like this, it's okay too. The goal is to make it easy. It's still going to taste really good. I'm just trying to do it like they did it at Bar Acuda. You got to try this pineapple. This was a really good one. Now, of course, they're in Hawaii, so their pineapple was like creme de la creme of pineapples, nice and fresh. Now, the final ingredient on their pizza was prosciutto, and I am using speck, which is a smoked cured ham instead of the prosciutto, which is typically not smoked. I just like speck because I feel like it has so much more flavor. And I'm just gonna give it kind of a rough chop, and we're just going to place it strategically around that pizza. It's got a great flavor. All right, there's my pizza. It's had a little time to start to bake. And now I'm gonna doctor it up. So first things first is the marinara, and you don't want to douse this pizza. You want to very gently put a little bit of the marinara on. You don't want to have it super heavy with sauce. And I like to get the sauce all the way to the edges, because you know how the sauce kind of burns on the pizza crust? I like that. If you don't like that, don't do it. And then my fig jam. And I want to be very judicious with this because I don't want to just have it huge dollops. I want to smear it and almost combine it with the marinara. And the crust is really hot. This fig jam is just going to kind of melt on here, and it's going to add just that hint of sweetness that the pineapple's going to add too. But I think when you combine salty and sweet and spicy, I'm telling you, it's the perfect combination. Now we start layering. I think I'm gonna do the jalapeno and the pineapple down first. I'm doing more pineapple than jalapeno. Just get this all over this pizza. This is so good. And then the brie, the rest of the pineapple. Ooh, that brie's gonna get so melty and delicious. Okay. And then the speck or prosciutto, whatever you're gonna use. I just want to kind of sprinkle it over, and these pieces are gonna get really crispy in the oven. Now this goes back into my 450 oven for about 20 minutes. Here's my pizza right out of the oven. Woo. And that brie got a little brown, and I am actually okay with that. I'm not gonna be sad about it because I love a good browned piece of cheese, that's for sure. And I think we need to. Can you hear the crisp in the crust? Hear it? Yeah. That's what I was going for. Uh-huh. Can see the bottom of the crust is nice and browned, and that is exactly what I want. And dare I, it's so super hot. Oh my word, that is one magnificent bite. You get the sweetness from that little bit of fig jam and the pineapple in there, and then you get a hint of spicy jalapeno. Man, that pineapple is just so awesome. And the prosciutto gives it a really nice smokiness, and all on a super crispy crust because I used my pizza stone method and preheated it first. So you've got to give this one a try. If you've got a pizza oven, even better. But this is so fabulous, and you'll have to excuse me while I go finish the rest and call hubby to help me do it. So check out the recipe. It's on tkfoodie.com. You are gonna love this.